Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Hungover gaming podcast. This week we have a special guest, Julien. Hey, welcome. Thanks for coming along.
What's up? Thank you so much for introducing the special guest, which is me. We're just kidding. Actually, our special guest, we have a very, very special guest joining us from the Slacker Mountain Monster. Sorry. Oh my God.
He's been playing so much Monster Hunter. He's ready to talk about it.
Oh my God, the Slacker Cast, the Rocky Mountain Slacker Cast, and once in a fortnight, we have THEwiller himself, Nick.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Man?
Yes, I am Nick, aka THEwiller from the Rocky Mountain Slackers.
Yes, Rocky Mountain. I'm sorry about that. Oh,
Solid.
mistake. But I got once in a fortnight. Now you have two podcasts, I hear. And we got in contact through the Rebreak Discord, which was pretty awesome. Originally sort of put together by Dennis from Rebreak Radio, and he decided to contact Kinda Funny and get a bunch of small YouTubers together. So if you're listening to this and you are a small YouTuber out there or a small podcaster, go ahead and try to join this Discord. Get in contact with one of us, and we'll definitely send you a link to the Discord. It's really helped all of our channels grow, at least for us. I don't know about your channel, Nick. Is your podcast grown since we joined
little
it?
by
I
little.
assume a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard. Rocky Mountain Slackers has always been my smaller one, and once in a fortnight I have over 2,000 listeners. So yeah, but right. I have noticed a little bit here and there, and it's so confusing because, as you guys probably know, if you're on iTunes, they don't like giving you numbers. They don't like letting you know how good or bad you're doing.
Oh yeah, no stats. No stats. It's the worst. Right, but we're also on SoundCloud as well.
SoundCloud and
SoundCloud
iTunes.
to upload your podcast.
Both on that.
Yeah.
That's the easiest as far as I'm concerned. I mean, some people prefer Podbean, but SoundCloud's pretty intuitive, right, as far as, you know, how many people are listening to you and comments and stuff. So.
Well, cool. Well, we start our podcast out every single week by asking each other what sort of media have we been consuming, whether it be books, movies, video games, TV shows, etc. And what did you drink last night? Vaughn, or we can start with our guests. Actually, I don't know if you drink at all. Sorry, I should ask.
Well, I didn't really. I don't drink
totally
that often.
fine.
However, when I do drink,
neither do I. Good.
Lately I've been into Not Your Dad's root beer, and then they also have a Not Your Dad's something. It's basically like Mountain Dew, and so I've been really into that because I can kind of just. They have a Mountain Dew version. So if you go to your local gas station, look for it. I wish I could remember what it's called, but yeah, it's pretty much Mountain Dew with a little bit of beer taste to it, and I really like that. I don't normally like beer at all, and so those two I really like because at least it kind of fools me into thinking that I'm just, soda. Exactly.
Tastes like soda. Yeah, cool. Have you been playing any games lately, or seen any movies?
A couple. Last night, actually, I just watched the Cloverfield Paradox, and
Whoa! Interesting.
Yep, Netflix. Yeah, and I gotta say, I don't get why people are down on it. Is it the best? No, not at all. But I'm also just one of those people who I can be overcritical, but every once in a while I just turn my brain off and I have fun. But in this case, I didn't even really need to turn my brain off. It was a good movie. I think the biggest problem is that a lot of people were maybe expecting this thread is going to go to that thread and that thread's going to go over here. And there's threads, no doubt, but I don't think it's so straightforward. It's not like A equals B and everything. It was just more of a sci-fi movie with some really weird stuff going on, and I personally liked it.
Was there any connection? Was there any connection to the other
Yeah,
Cloverfield
there's basically the Cloverfield paradox is how everything got started, whether you're talking about Cloverfield back in 2008 or the 10 Cloverfield Lane. There's a couple of theories online about basically different dimensions and stuff like that, and so this movie basically created a ripple that went through multiple dimensions. And so that's why Cloverfield is so different than 10 Cloverfield Lane, because they could be taking place in completely different dimensions, basically. And so this kind of links them together.
That or 10 Cloverfield Lane was never supposed to be a Cloverfield movie.
Possibly.
It was only adapted to be a Cloverfield movie because they thought that would sell more tickets.
Well, the name sells the tickets, right? And did J.J. Abrams direct the
no,
Netflix
but he
thing?
was the producer, so the Bad Robot guys were the ones that made it.
Interesting. Cool. Did you check anything else out this
a
week,
couple
or?
different things. Altered Carbon, also on Netflix. Have you guys seen that?
Oh, nice. I saw an advertisement for it.
The first episode.
I think I've gotten into the second episode so far. I like it. Like, another one of it's not going to blow my socks off, but at the same time, it's really well done. The actor who's the RoboCop guy, I really like him. I think he does a pretty good job as far as the series. What did you think of it, Ivan?
I think the set design is really great. I think how they're building the world is always intriguing to me personally, and it's really well done. I think the script is bad, and I think the actor is attempting to get something out of the script, but it's hard. But he's huge, and the what's her name? Ortega. He's 6'2" and super built. And there's a scene in the first 5 minutes where you get to see his absolutely chiseled out of stone body.
Oh my god!
It's
finally,
exceedingly great.
Beautiful.
In terms of the body shape, but the cop Ortega, she might be. I think I fell in love with her at first sight. She blew my mind in terms of how pretty she was. But I still think the script and the plot is lacking so far. But I'm only one episode in, so maybe it'll pick up. I'm also really not intrigued by this Swedish man's ability to be brooding. I'm done with brooding characters. I think that we can do more interesting than Edward from Twilight, so that bothers me, but cool set design. It's very Blade Runner-esque.
Oh, it's more like Blade Runner. I thought I saw just a trailer for it. It reminded me of Ghost in the Shell, but I guess it's more run down like Blade Runner.
I mean, they all pulled from each other. Like Blade Runner 2049 was very Ghost in the Shell.
Okay. I didn't see that movie. I guess I should have seen it.
I just watched that last night. And I like the philosophical nature of it. What is it to be a human and everything. I thought. Also, I've seen, in quotes, I've seen the original Blade Runner, but really just in parts. So I liked the fact that I could watch Blade Runner 2049 and I wasn't completely confused. I followed it perfectly fine, and it wasn't like required reading, like you gotta complete the first course of Blade Runner in order to go on to the next one.
Yeah, I interestingly, when I saw Blade Runner 2049, I watched Blade Runner and then went to the movie theater and watched the new one.
Nice.
The director of the new Blade Runner is Denis Villeneuve, and he's my favorite working director. So he's just
what else has
incredible
he done?
With the amount of stories that he comes out with. Arrival, Sicario. He did Prisoners,
okay, yeah, I like him
and he comes out with a movie every year, and it's something.
Oh, wow.
It's just something that he wants to make. So I think his next project is Dune. So I'm super excited for
that would be awesome. Are we allowed to cuss? Should have asked that. Okay. Shit, that's going to be awesome. Like, I could see him taking on Dune, and like, especially after what I've seen him do with Sicario. So that's a modern day, cop, and stuff. And then seeing what he's done with sci-fi. I am very confident in his ability to do a good Dune.
I was astounded by Arrival, and I was very pleased with the new Blade Runner. I think the new Blade Runner is what you thought the old Blade Runner felt like.
That's a good point.
And looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can go back and go through the podcast to hear my reviews on that a while ago. I think I did it, but yeah. In any case, that's great. Anything else this
a lot of Fortnite.
Any games?
I play a lot of Fortnite. Do PvE mainly.
We tried to play Fortnite.
Did you do the Battle Royale?
Yeah, we've got the Battle Royale. But my setup for some reason won't let me record it. We try to do Let's Plays on our YouTube channel. We were trying to record a Let's Play of it, and for some reason I can't record it. So
I like Fortnite mainly because of the PvE.
Oh, and then we tried on PS4.
It's.
Do you play on PC
PlayStation 4
on a console?
Yeah,
oh,
so
cool.
my recordings is as easy as just pushing the share button.
Yeah, we tried recording on PS4 and it was going fine, but then I got locked out of the server for some reason. So
it was probably it last weekend they were having service issues?
Yeah, it was. Oh no, it was. It was yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't it yesterday?
Yeah, that's one thing they definitely have a problem with, and even being an advocate for them being on once in a fortnight, even being an advocate for them, that's one thing that on my last episode I just had, guys, what the hell? Mm-hmm. My main issue, this is what I said on my podcast. My main issue was I'm sick of the phrase "we are aware." So it's so PR, it's so robotic. It's just we are aware that we're sucking.
Destiny.
Exactly, Destiny. When you hear that, you just know it's some PR guy doing his job in his defense or her defense. But it's annoying to hear that. It's like that's not what I want to hear from my company. Because that's like I'm trying to champion you. So do me a service and stop sounding like you're just talking to peons. Make it sound like you're talking to real people, because that's what we are, and it's like just last week, they were able to boast that they had 3.5 million concurrent users, but it's,
more than PUBG.
We're getting there. I don't know if we're quite there, but we're definitely.
I thought they beat PUBG in some.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I've never. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well,
it's free to play also.
When they released the custom matches, the Fortnite streamers were crushing PUBG streamers.
Yeah.
It was like twice or three times as many streamers on Twitch, or viewers that were watching the Fortnite as opposed to PUBG, which I thought was interesting. It flipped later. It went back to PUBG being on top. But it was interesting that Fortnite could have such powerful draw from a game that has such established followers.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Well, you've been playing some Fortnite. You've been playing any other games?
No, unfortunately, I'm poor.
No. Well, well. That's why Fortnite is free to play.
Well, not for me. I got the early
which is
access,
awesome.
so I paid for. But that was so long ago now.
Oh, sweet. Oh well. Can't you get a refund?
If you bought it during the same time that they announced that they were going to be going free to play, I got it probably, I want to say, a whole month before they even came out with the Battle Royale. So even my very first episode of the podcast was me talking about PvE. We didn't even know that there was a Battle Royale coming.
Mm-hmm. So that must have been a crazy surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I personally like it, but I'm not good at it, so it's really hard to get into. I talk about it a lot on the show, but that's just because that's where that's where the audience came from. A lot of the people came on during the free-to-play model because they heard so much about PUBG this, PUBG. I mean, you guys listen to Kind of Funny. It was like every other day. It's they hit a new thing, and they hit a new thing. And, even Andrea started, Andrea and Renee, she started complaining, like, do we have to talk about this all the time? And I was right with her because it's like, come on, guys. Like, this is ridiculous. But yeah, so hilarious. I mean, a lot of people heard about it. It's free to play. That's where a lot of the audience came in. So that's why I try to cater towards that as far as what I talk about. But if I'm being honest, it's like I personally prefer the PvE because that's what me and my wife can play. It's co-op. It's tower defense. That's cool. And I play like 3 or 4 hours with my wife. And we throw something on for the little kid, and then we just play for hours.
See ya.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's solid. That's well solid.
Ivan, what have you been up to this week?
A lot of limoncello. It is a great digestif. I think I want to get into making my own limoncello soon. Because
it's going to be made with vodka, right? I think.
It's going to be made with vodka. So I've been enjoying some limoncello. In terms of other things, so Don Q is a rum company, I believe from Puerto Rico.
Yeah. And
they make, and I don't know if it's widely available for distribution. I don't think it was for a long time. They make this mojito, so it's a mint-infused rum that they call Don Q Mojito. It's a 20 ABV, so it's not that strong, but it is a mojito in a bottle, and you can just drink a shot of it, and it's just perfect. So I just I do that plus some lime flavored sparkling from the SodaStream sparkling water. So yeah, that's what I've been doing a lot of this week, but need to manage that. And in terms of games that I've been playing, so I got into a little bit of XCOM 2, a little bit more. Then Overwatch has been a resurgence of competitive play. I was afraid to damage my score, but then once I dropped from plat to gold, I was like, well, fuck it, play more. So we've been doing pretty well, and I've actually improved my gameplay in general. I can actually now almost play some hit scan characters, which is great for me. We tried to play Fortnite, and there's a big difference between Fortnite on the PC and Fortnite on PS4. And
yeah, right.
I can't aim for anything in Fortnite on PC, and I can't aim for anything on PS4 anymore because I've been playing too much PC. So whereas previously, where I've, out of like 49 games, I placed in the top 5 3 times and placed in the top 10 like 25 times, I haven't been able to do nearly that amount of work since I stopped playing PS4 and switched to PC. So my Fortnite skills have severely diminished, but my Overwatch skills are going up. So it's a balance, I guess. In terms of things that I covered media-wise, I meant to or wanted to go see Phantom Thread, but they stopped showing it in my area, which sucks. Phantom Thread is the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie. So it stars Daniel Day-Lewis, who is it's set in London in the 1950s. Yes.
He makes the dresses? Yes.
Yes, and then he has this muse, and the movie is about their relationship and his, I'm guessing, mental stability.
It's very Black Swan-y.
I've heard really good things. I've heard,
as far as the mental state.
No, because I've heard that the things that you see in the trailer are actually misleading, and that in the movie itself they're actually more comedic moments. And Paul Thomas Anderson is not nearly the sadist that Darren Aronofsky is. So I trust Paul Thomas Anderson to handle a little bit more comedic moments. Like P.T. Anderson did Inherent Vice, which is like stoner Joaquin Phoenix PI, and Darren Aronofsky did Mother as his last movie. So there's a pretty big difference in terms of their flavor text. So I'm gonna trust that P.T. Anderson did a fairly comedic job, even though it's Daniel Day-Lewis, who is pretty intense. But I haven't been able to get to it, so instead I kind of rewatched because I've never seen it fully. Boogie Nights, that was great.
That's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, that's another Paul Thomas Anderson film, so I felt like I could make up for it by watching Boogie Nights. Then I watched the first episode of Altered Carbon, and I think the best movie that I've watched since we've talked is Werner Herzog compilation documentary called Grizzly Man, where he takes 100+ hours of footage that was filmed by this guy Timothy Treadwell, who went to Alaska for many summers in a row, like 13 summers, and lived with camped out in grizzly territory against like rules and regulations and whatever. And just filmed himself, and it's a really interesting documentary because it's all literally found footage, because it's his footage, and Werner Herzog puts it together in a sort of narrative describing what his work was, why he was there, how it helped him in his personal life, and what others thought about him, and the closest to him or like random people. And there's some really great scenes with the coroner who deals with the bodies later, and he's just like, this is his time to shine. He's never been interviewed for anything as important as a Werner Herzog movie. He gives like a 10-minute soliloquy. It's amazing. Wow. I highly recommend this film. It's from 2005, but it's great.
What's it called again? Sorry.
Grizzly Man.
Grizzly Man. Oh, I think my dad has suggested me to watch that movie.
It's really,
have to
really
check
good.
it out. Cool.
You could rent it for $2 on YouTube or whatever.
Okay, that's relatively cheap.
And most of the footage is SD, so playing it in HD doesn't really matter that much because the found footage is all SD cameras.
Yeah. Okay. Well, have you gotten into anything else, or that's about it?
I mean, that was a lot of things, Julian. I don't know what you want out of me.
All
I know
right.
you're just asking me that so that you can
checking.
talk about how much you love Monster Hunter World.
Look, I don't even have to talk.
You see how
Look,
he
I
treats
actually
me,
saw
Nick,
a movie
on this podcast?
Right? Look, I am usually playing video games and not watching movies or TV shows, but I actually watched a movie because I saw this woman. You know, when I get on the New York City subway public transit every morning. And people have been getting into watching movies on their phone lately. So every now and then, you know, someone's sitting right in front of me and they have their phone out. So I can't help but look at their phone for a second at least. And so I saw this woman watching this movie who had one of my favorite actors, John Cusack, in it. And I was like, oh, I love that man. I should probably figure out what movie she's watching. Probably some silly movie that he's in. I don't know. And I had no idea what movie this was because it had Julia Roberts, Billy Crystal, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Hank Azaria, Christopher Walken,
Sweethearts.
And it's American Sweethearts. I'd never seen this movie or heard of it. And let me tell you, I did not like this movie at all.
No, it's not a great movie.
The worst movie I've ever seen. No,
anything
it's not the worst.
Anything starring Catherine Zeta-Jones is not that great.
Yeah,
sorry to say.
I figured it's literally pretty much the same story as High Fidelity, both starring John Cusack and Catherine. Well, Catherine Zeta-Jones is not necessarily starring in that movie, but she's in it. But I think Billy Crystal wrote this movie. It's just a stupid rom-com that takes place in like the middle of nowhere, some hotel. I don't know. It was not worth watching. I wouldn't suggest it, even though Christopher Walken's in it. They paid so much money to fail.
There are a lot of
it's a shit movie.
Yeah, there are a lot of big name stars in there.
So I saw that. I also caught up on a little bit of Luther, even though I've seen the entire series, but I love that show's really awesome. It's on Netflix now. Nick,
That's how
I
watched
don't know if you like detective shows, but I suggest
Luther?
watching that. If you like, Luther. It's an English show on BBC, but it's on Netflix now.
Oh,
so
with
I highly suggest it. It's
what's his name? Idris Elba. Yeah.
Idris
Elba.
Elba.
I would love to watch
Idris
that.
Elba, yeah.
The newly engaged Idris Elba. Sorry, ladies.
Oh man.
Exactly. He got engaged Dang it. He's an attractive man. He's tall.
Yeah.
I wouldn't kick him out of bed for getting crackers.
I feel like he could. Yeah. No, but I really suggest watching that show. It's really entertaining. They always have a really gripping cliffhanger to end on, which is great because then you can watch the next episode at midnight. When in the middle of the week. God damn it. Yeah, so I watched those two, and of course I've been getting into Monster Hunter World. I'm really fucking hooked on that game now. It's really bad. It's getting to the point where you start thinking about it when you're not playing it, and how you could be grinding out those Raytheon plates because you really need them to make the good weapons. It's really taking over my life. But I wanted to talk more about the game Celeste. I don't know if you guys... I mean, I talked about it last week, but I just beat it today. That game is really amazing. It has a pretty great story that's subtly about depression, entirely about depression. And also not so subtly, she's climbing a mountain to overcome her depression, this main character. But the platforming's really... amazing in that game. So if you like platformers, I highly suggest you pick that up. It's a really amazing game. I had a lot of fun playing. It's on everything. I think it's even on Steam, but it's on PS4 as well.
It's hard to find anybody talking shit about that game.
Exactly, because for good reason. And the cool thing about it is it has this really cool sort of, I guess, assist mode, right. I think it's called in the game, where you can scale it. So you can, if you're having particularly a lot of trouble with the game, because it is pretty difficult, and that's not even to mention the optional levels, that are the B-sides that are really hard. The game itself is just really hard. I think I died 2,500 times throughout the whole game. But yeah, so it basically you can scale how fast the time, or yeah, basically the speed of the game. You can scale it by 10%, by 20%, all the way up to 100%, I think. So that's pretty cool as a scalable speed. You can also adjust the gravity and things like that, and your stamina. So those are some cool things that they added if you just wanted to get through a level or something like that. And I picked up Dragon Ball Fighters, which is I love fighting games, yeah. Nick. So I'm really into fighting games. So that game is super casual, but also you can get really good at it too. But it's really awesome. You can pull off some really cool combos in the game if you just mash with one button, which is pretty cool. So, like, that's awesome. You're just fighting Frieza. Lord Frieza, man. That guy. I don't know if you watch Dragon Ball Z. But in this game, they didn't get the same English voice actor, which kind of pissed me off. But
that's the only thing that nerds worry about.
Yeah, like me. I need my game in perfect.
I need my David Hayter back.
Dude, that kind of pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I guess we can move into. Did you guys see this sweet Han Solo trailer?
No, I have not been alive for the last week.
Before we started recording.
Literally. Well, let's start up. Actually, before we go into that, do you want to tell us a little bit about your two podcasts that you run?
A word from our sponsors.
By any chance? A word from our sponsors?
That's
this week on the Rocky Mountain Slackers. I got a couple of really good ones. I can do the merchant from Resident Evil. What are you buying? What are you selling? What are you buying? Not enough cash, stranger.
Stranger.
I'll buy it at price. I do it way better when I'm sick though.
That guy
I already
is
got
the
phlegm in there, and it like makes a lot more gravitas in my voice. I'm like, I'm gonna die. And I'm taking you with me. Anyway, so Rocky Mountain Slackers you can find on iTunes and SoundCloud. I don't always do voices, but I do it from time to time. So yeah, Rocky Mountain Slackers, I would compare to your guys' podcast. We talk a little bit about everything. what we've been doing, what we're excited about in the future, and everything. Yeah, it's kind of similar to yours, but awesome. And then once
it's true.
We invite you to our podcast, and you come to us on this
day of our Lord.
I listened to an
Sunday.
Episode. I'm not gonna say it was a 10 out of 10, but I was pretty impressed. All right, I listened to an episode. I'm kidding. It was an awesome podcast. I listened to your most recent.
I try to do about the same stuff as you. I like getting my opinion out there. And then once in a fortnight, also on iTunes,
Literally.
and SoundCloud. And obviously that's just about Fortnite. We talk about Battle Royale and everything. Mm-hmm. So and you can also go on to my Twitter at Rocky Slackers or at Once Fortnite.
It'll all be in the description below.
So, and there I try to stay as active as I can for being,
awesome.
So,
all right. Well,
and now we're back
from our sponsor. Now we're back. Han Solo. Donald Glover's in it. I'm a big fan of him.
Didn't he die?
Didn't he? What? What?
Donald Glover. No,
isn't he getting too old for this shit?
Well, yeah.
Is that where you were going with it?
No, he's still.
No, I meant that Han Solo died.
Oh
yeah.
Spoilers.
Spoilers alerts. Oh shit. Look, Ivan is not the biggest fan of the character in this movie named
the guy
Han
playing
Solo.
it, or
I just don't get
looking.
why everyone
He's too
is
scruffy.
so into Han Solo when clearly the best character is the law-abiding citizen who is Emperor Palpatine.
What?
that's the movie I want to see. Palpatine, the Star Wars story.
Yeah.
That was
Lord
essentially the
in a
prequel,
world
right?
Yeah, that's
of
true.
intrigue and politics.
Do it. Finish
That's what she said.
That's Julian's voice. He's
Yes.
got Emperor Palpatine down. He's been practicing since he saw episode 2.
Oh, I love that movie. The sand was so close. Oh my god. God damn it. Well, what do you think about who is the actor that they chose to play Han Solo? I forgot his name. What else has he been in?
Aaron Reich. So I know
That's
him.
it. Can't hear anything.
Aaron Rich. I know him from the Coen Brothers movie, Hail Caesar, in which he played the
wanted to see that.
The Wild Wild West cowboy.
Who's the woman in
dude.
that movie?
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson's in it, right? Yeah, that's probably why I wanted to see it, but also actually was interested in it.
He's been in a Francis Ford Coppola film, and stuff like that. So
yeah, I hear a lot of people are complaining that he doesn't look like Han Solo.
He doesn't.
There could be only one.
I think he looks fine. He can only be one, Harrison Ford. I think he'll be fine. They still have Chewie in it. Look, guys, they have the Millennium Falcon. They're hitting all these cool things. What do you think the story is going to be about?
I don't know if it's the Millennium Falcon.
Just
if you've seen the promo posters, it doesn't have the gap in the middle. It has the cockpit on the side.
Oh, it doesn't?
And then it doesn't have the gap. There's the two like fork prongs. It doesn't have that. So I don't know if it's not the Millennium Falcon or something happens where he has to get it redone because.
Yeah, I feel like that's more likely. Right?
I feel like the climax of the movie is doing the Kessel Run.
I would think so because if the second trailer has Woody Harrelson,
right, it doesn't have the
and
gap.
He's like, "I'm putting together a team." Well, what are you putting together a team for? And that might be it to do the Kessel Run.
It's true.
Woody Harrelson puts together his teams. He loves basketball. Perhaps it could be a basketball game. Space basketball. Maybe they're fighting the same aliens from Space Jam. This is Space Jam 2, the Han Solo story. Breaking news.
And do you guys, this woman in the trailer that has, she had a couple lines, I think. She's obviously, she's got to be a love
Yeah, you're talking about the girl
right?
from Game of Thrones?
Or something in the movie. Yes,
Emilia Clarke.
I haven't seen Game of Thrones. Sorry,
Julian literally has never seen an episode.
I'm under a rock.
I've seen one episode
right now, actually. So there you go. And you know, well, even you know, so I didn't know. Okay, well that
she was also Sarah Connor.
Oh, cool.
Didn't
know that. So she's gonna be like the evil woman, or she's gonna be the love interest, or maybe both. I don't know. Probably not a main character.
Yeah, it kind of made it seem like a love interest.
I feel like she's going to be the main love interest.
And he'll probably betray her or something. You know, got to get out the Kessel Run. He's got to do it. How many parsecs was it?
Under 12.
Under 12. What does that mean? Don't know. Did he shoot first? Did he shoot at all?
He definitely shot first.
Well, how do you think Donald Glover looks in the movie? He has literally 2 flashes of his face in the trailer.
It looks good. I think he looks good as Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, I think he's gonna do. He might. You think he's gonna steal the show? I don't know. How much of a role do you think they'll give Lando Calrissian?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. And I mean, as far as his look, I don't know, like, we didn't get that much out of him in the original trilogy other than he had a cape and he stole Han Solo's shirt from him. You know, he went in Carbonite and he just stole his shirt from him. Like, what an asshole. But as far as, like, as far as how he looks in the trailer, it's like he looks all, like, dignified and, like even the way Donald Glover is, like, his posture. His posture is very, like, I don't know. That's just my impression, at least at first. Like, I am a Southern dignitary,
I could see it.
and you will obey.
It's interesting that people gravitate so much to certain characters in the original trilogy who were literally, I think maybe Lando Calrissian has maybe 5 minutes of screen time in total. I feel like
true.
He's not. He plays a large role in that movie, but it's so funny that those movies were so long ago that people have just made up stories in their head of how amazing this character is, and then now we're finally getting the story of whether or not he was amazing.
I just think it's the enlargement of nerd culture because people are like, oh, I can name all of these smaller characters from Star Wars, and then everyone gravitates to remembering the few ones. Like, for no reason, Boba Fett is a really important character. For no reason, he's the lamest bounty hunter that's ever existed.
In the Sarlacc.
Dies in the Sarlacc pit. Billy D. Williams as Lando Calrissian was just cheesy.
Exactly, right.
The thing that I appreciate is that they're putting, more people of color in prominent roles.
Yes,
Star Wars. That's important. But I don't know. I don't really care about Lando Calrissian as such.
Maybe you will now.
I do like Donald Glover. I think he's a good actor. So I think he'll bring charisma, and he'll be like the Benicio del Toro of The Usual Suspects for this movie, I hope.
Oh, not the Benicio del Toro of The Last Jedi.
God, no.
Did you see The Last Jedi?
Not yet. I'm ready.
Nick?
I'm waiting for the red backs.
Not yet? Okay. I see. I see. Fair enough. Well, then we won't go into that.
If you've seen The Empire Strikes Back, you've seen a lot of the good stuff from The Last Jedi.
It's a good movie. Look, both of them. Well, okay. Well, look, it's a short teaser trailer, sort of, or it's this Han Solo trailer that we got, minute 45 seconds. Did you guys get anything that you can think of for what you think the story is about, or not much? It didn't. I feel like people complain about the trailers spoiling the movie. I feel like this didn't do that at all, personally. But
yeah, he's going the J.J. Abrams route where they're showing the flashy stuff and they're showing just enough to make you go, huh? And then that's enough, which I kind of like. I think it did very well for episode 7. When episode 8 came around, I think it was less effective, and that was because it's like, we didn't like getting, played with. It's like, stop playing with our emotions. Just tell us what this movie's going to be about. Exactly. And so
it's another one of those situations.
But yeah, I mean, I think the mystery helps in this particular case, and we also got to keep in mind that this was the first trailer. The second one's going to get a little bit more into the mythos or not the mythos. This is the mythos. Sorry, I got them mixed up. The first one is really just introducing you to the world and what the tone of the movie is going to be. So it's really, we really can't do anything until that second trailer and we get a little bit more of the story, which even we technically had a second trailer, but not really, because we had the Super Bowl and we had the teaser trailer. But all we got out of the second one, new at least, was, Woody Harrelson talking about the team. So, until we get a little bit more information and what part everybody's going to be playing, it's hard to get excited, but it's also hard to sit there and complain about it, because it's like, well, you haven't really seen anything. Give it a chance, before you put down the hammer.
It's a good point. Yeah, I appreciate that it seems like they're gonna, all the Star Wars have an original score, but for the most part, but I feel like the music in this trailer was pretty good. I liked it a lot, and I like that they didn't really have any of the main themes from Star Wars. They're just clearly trying to separate it from that this is clearly just a side story, to explain whatever Han Solo did whenever.
Do you think they're going to have the crawl? Because Rogue One didn't have the crawl.
That's.
Maybe that's going to be the staple of the quote Star Wars stories, is that they're not going to have the crawl, and so it might be a good strategy, because you don't want to be watching a Star Wars story and then wonder to yourself, does this matter? Do I need to see 8 to watch this one? Just like Rogue One, it's like,
absolutely.
There's a lot of fan service in it, but in all technicality, you didn't really need to watch like episode 4 to understand, this is the one right before it. It was still confusing as hell, but that's not the point. The point is that with the crawl, it would have. I think they made the right choice. So I don't know. They could, since he's part of the original cast. He's part of the original. 6 people of the because the numbered stories are about the Skywalker lineage, and so he is technically part of it, since I don't know if they ever got married, but they obviously had a kid together. So yeah, he is technically a part of it, so they could try to justify having a crawl because of that.
Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting in terms of this branching off as a Star Wars story, because I think what really worked in Rogue One is that you could kill everybody off and there were stakes for the characters. But in this new movie, we know that Chewie's going to live, Han Solo is going to live, Lando Calrissian is going to live. There aren't stakes for those characters.
That's why I don't like
it's hard to find a prequel
where
you actually give a crap, unless they come up with some kind of like Mass Effect thing where they just cloned him at the end, or what was the Golden Circle, the Kingsman.
Don't talk about clones.
Kingsman, the Golden Circle, where they're like, here's some magic gel that just makes this guy come back to life. Unless they do something like that, it's hard to feel the stakes. I can't name a single prequel that is actually good for that reason.
That's a really good point. Yeah, that's a really good point, that these characters are all going to live, except for I guess, maybe
the Game of Thrones. She's screwed.
And,
that's going to be what makes makes Han Solo an asshole. Is that she dies like in his arms. Spoiler alert, everybody! She's going to die in his arms after betraying him, and so now he's going to be an asshole scavenger.
You called it. You called it on Hungover Podcast
I'll
first.
bet you a
Thank
pizza
God.
dinner.
All right, well, I will refer back to this podcast when it comes out on Memorial Day. But I also, people dying off. I hear Darth Maul's still alive somewhere out in space. You never know.
Well, yeah, Boba Fett does
back.
technically make it out of the
Jedi,
Sarlacc
these
pit.
Sith Lords. Exactly. Boba Fett's still alive.
Yes, he's Captain Phasma. He just changed his armor color and turned into a woman.
There we go.
And his gender. God damn it.
We're exploring gender fluidity in our Star Wars stories now.
Finally. They're getting some representation. Well, do you guys want to talk about this short and sweet Venom trailer, or are we leaving that to the dust?
I have a different question.
Or do you have a better question?
I don't know if it's a better question,
but it is a question.
A question that intrigued me, considering that Valentine's Day is coming up this week on Wednesday. And
the 14th? 2 days?
Yes. Nick said that he plays Fortnite with his wife, which is a great way to spend time together. Are there any games that you guys would recommend in terms of playing couch co-op or anything? The best kind of way to cuddle up with your sweetheart.
If you want to test your tenacity and you want to test your relationship, play Overcooked.
Don't say Overcooked. God damn it. Yes. Don't mention Overcooked. No.
Yes.
Or another good one is Lovers in a Space-Time.
Lovers in a... I think it's
Lovers
in a
Dangerous
Space-Time.
I'm so sorry,
right?
I left out the Dangerous.
Yeah. Well, look. Someone might look it up, and they might get the prequel of that game and get pissed off. All right?
It's the prequel is Lovers in a not so dangerous space time because the characters survived to get to the dangerous space time.
Yeah, I hear that game is pretty good. I don't exactly know. I've never even seen a trailer for it.
Oh,
though.
Lovers in Space. Yeah, you
it?
got it free on PlayStation Plus 1 month. It's the same concept of like Overcooked, where everybody's working together and everybody's yelling at each other, but instead of cooking, you're piloting a spaceship. And so somebody needs to be the pilot, somebody needs to be on the guns, somebody needs to be on the reflector, because you can like point the reflector in a particular direction and, ricochet, incoming projectiles. Yeah. And so
while trying to accomplish a larger objective.
All while trying to serve an omelet, a pizza to the.
How come this is an onion and tomato soup, Julian? We just needed onions.
No, I screwed up. It's all on fire. No. I wish that game had online co-op.
Doesn't?
Yeah.
Then we would actually beat it. It doesn't. It's only
that's OG right
co-op.
there.
Which,
Julian and I have tested our friendship many times with the Overcooked.
Yeah, cool. So Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time. Yvonne, do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, it was your
lovers out there?
If you have a Switch, I would say Overcooked is fun. If you really want to stress your relationship, but if you want a slower paced, more relaxed feel on the Switch, I really think that Snipper Clips is a great way to build camaraderie and team play.
Cool.
I really enjoy
one
Snipper
to pick
Clips.
up. I highly suggest you guys out there pick up Journey if you have a PlayStation 3 or a PlayStation 4 laying around. That game is co-op. It has a co-op mode, and it only takes an hour to beat, or an hour or two to beat, and you can beat it in one sitting, and it's an amazing story. I definitely highly suggest that. Really great. I won't spoil it, but
there's
it's
an
a really
Ocean
cool ending.
Version. It's not the same.
Abzu, I think is the name. From the same developer.
Yeah, that's also
it's a
really
relaxing experience, I hear. Just sort of floating around in the water. And I think they also... I don't know if it's from the same developer, actually. But Abzu, that is. But I think Flower is the other game that developer made. That's a very relaxing, not like a crazy game that you have to be highly skilled at or anything. So if you're just looking to get your significant other into gaming, maybe check out those games. Those are pretty fun. But yeah, I feel like what
the other game that I really like, especially if you have somebody that you're trying to introduce into gaming, with a kind of cool thing is the Unfinished Swan. I found that people who don't even enjoy video games enjoy that one because it kind of teaches you how to use a controller and move around or whatever. It's fast-paced enough for people to keep engaged, but slow enough that people aren't stressed that they're going to miss whatever. And it's a really cool concept, I think. So I really like bringing people in with the Unfinished Swan, and I think it's a nice story that you can participate in together.
Cool. Well, that's about it. Thanks to everyone out there. I hope you guys have a great Valentine's Day. For sure. You too, yeah, everyone.
Go check out The Shape of Water as your date movie. I highly recommend that one.
Looks so good.
Do you guys have any movie recommendations? Maybe people are staying in for Valentine's Day, not going out on the town to see, a movie.
If you're staying in and you're going to watch a movie together indoors.
Oh, sorry, Shape of Water is out in theaters. Sorry.
I would recommend maybe a little bit of the early Cameron Crowe films, and a little bit of John Cusack. Maybe a little bit of Say Anything.
Say Anything. Oh my god.
For the homestay.
Too corny. It's too corny, man.
That was great. Lift that boombox.
I said I loved her, and she gave me a pen. Nick, where can people follow you? Actually, that's a good question.
Where can people follow me?
On the internet.
You can follow me at Rocky Slackers, or you can even go to, on Twitter? Twitter on, take two. Twitter at Rocky Slackers and once Fortnite. You can also find my podcast, Rocky Mountain Slackercast, on iTunes and SoundCloud, and Once in a Fortnight on iTunes and SoundCloud.
Well, if you listen to our podcast and you like it, I highly suggest you go check out Nick's podcast. It's pretty damn entertaining. I liked it a lot. All those crazy voices really add to an entertaining podcast. It's a lot of fun. Now, and of course, all of his contact information, if you didn't catch it there, will be in the description below, so don't worry about that. But we end our podcast every single week in a song in a segment called Hungover Radio. This is where you, the viewer or listener, can send in your song, whether you wrote it or played an instrument on, and want some free advertisement for the people out there. And send it in to us at gaminghungover@gmail.com. That would be really great, and we could play it for you at the end of the podcast and have everyone have a nice song at the end. But if that doesn't happen, I get to pick a song, unless someone else can think of one right now on the spot. I'm guessing the answer is no. They cannot, because I get to pick one now. It's God damn it. We'll sing it out. Sing them out. Okay, but
I've heard his name is my name too.
Oh my god.
It's an old wives' tale. Don't be spreading that fake news.
Well, I'm gonna play a song from Celeste because I'm really high off that game. It's a really fun game, and the soundtrack is actually really awesome too. So I'm gonna be playing Scattered and Lost from the Celeste original soundtrack. Hope you guys enjoy the song, and maybe it influences you to go pick up that game. It's an indie game. Go support your indie.
Was the nickname my teachers gave me in high school.
Oh, well, you'll like this song because it's for you, Yvonne. I picked this song for you because you're my Valentine. Yay! All right.
Not mine.
Oh dang, that's fucked up, man. But fuck you. Nick, thank you so much for joining the podcast. I hope if you weren't too scared off by us we can come on your podcast at some point, or if you want some noobs talking about Fortnite, we can talk. Sure. We can join your Fortnite podcast also if you want. We're always open to collaboration. So thanks so much for joining the podcast, Nick. And to everyone else, we'll catch you guys next week. Peace out.
Bye.